60 years ago, Muhammad Ali slapped my grandpa, and that shaped my destiny.
Now I'm making a game about guard gnomes. I'm giving them the Buckle Me 1-2s, and we're gonna teach them how to box.
What are those? For the past 3 years, I've been solo developing a game, my dream game, Garden Guardians. A garden gnome sandbox game where you grow a community and you guard it against the litter bugs. Picture this. You have a sacred grove, houses and whatnot, a bunch of community members, and they're all doing their own thing. And then all of a sudden, the litter bugs attack! And they're real bad guys. They're here to spread pollution, extract your garden. But are all bug folk bad? Definitely not. No, not at all. Don't think they call themselves the litter bugs. They want to extract your garden. They want to build office buildings instead of these sacred groves. They're trying to take your magic and sell it. It is your duty as a garden guardian to not only protect your community members, protect the ecosystem in the sacred grove, and express yourself while doing it. I'm trying to make everything art themed, whether it's the magic, the art style, or the martial arts, which is what this video is about. Because last time we redid everything. We remade the whole game. So now, there's no combat. We're starting from scratch, and by the end of this episode, we're gonna have a pretty cool it's gonna be pretty cool. Here's a little sneak peek. It's good. This is just a sneak peek though. We also had a multiplayer. Woo! Multiplayer! I'm also gonna teach you a little bit about game design and how I designed this Garden Gnome RPG. I think this is the biggest update yet, so stay tuned. But first, where are we gonna get the inspiration? I'm no stranger to blood sport. As a kid, I almost hit black belt in Taekwondo until I moved because my parents got a divorce. So I thought of the next best thing. Why don't I ask a pro boxer? I know a pro boxer. My grandpa. Yeah. How do you want to do it? You want to stand up?
I can just do it from here.
So he's going to give us advice on how not to get absolutely washed in a fight. And then I'm going to teach him how to be a gamer on the sticks. We're going to get inspired by Grandpa, implement combat, and then we're going to run the ones. Because we're going to test out the combat and see if it works. So for adding combat, what do we need? Well, maybe damage and a way to take damage, like a health system. See, I have this theory when it comes to language and game design. If you think about it, language is kind of the tool you have to describe the world around you. So your language shapes your worldview because different languages process emotions differently. Different languages talk about time differently. And so your language shapes your worldview. So I'm thinking for my garden gnome game, what if the language was as gnomey as possible? Because then when you're talking about the game, when you're playing the game, when you're thinking about the game, you're thinking like a gnome and you have a gnome worldview. In a typical fantasy RPG type game, your character might expect to have health, stamina, some sort of magic reserve. If your health reaches 0, you're dead. If your stamina reaches 0, you can't do anything. So let's gnomify it. Health, nuh-uh, that's called well-being. Stamina, nuh-uh, that's called energy. Because you have to take care of your gnome's well-being and you have to regulate your energy. So getting punched, that definitely is bad for your well-being. What is good for your well-being? A good night's rest, a hearty stew, good music. Those all restore your well-being, which makes a lot more sense than healing your health bar. Stamina, on the other hand, is more of a resource for your turn. When you're out of stamina, your turn is over. A lot of games also have some sort of magic reserve, but I'm just gonna combine that with energy because magic should just be a thing that you're able to do, and it tires you out like anything else. And then that star in the middle, that's just your crosshair, so that tells you where you're looking. But right now, we need to get our gnomes in their tracksuits. We gotta get them freaking ready to box. We have a health and damage system, so now we need a way to deal the damage. Let's start with some basic attacks. I think it's time for the gnome boxing training method. Grandpa, how do you box? Grandpa, how does boxing work?
Basically, you want to have your hands up close to your chin, and the jab is usually your left. You can jab with your right as well, but best jabs are from the opposite of what your hands are. And I learned to twist it because you can cut. So if you got gloves on and you're just going like this, you just hit. If you go like that, sometimes you can cut in your jab, okay?
I'm not sure if we're gonna do it exactly like a cut, but we're gonna do a nice swipe.
The other, while you're jabbing, you're then in a position to counter or to use a different punch. So if the person responds to the jab, you got options. You can do a cross, you can do an uppercut, or you can do a body blow, with the opposite hand.
You can only do right hand at the moment. I was having trouble mirroring the animation with this system.
But you will be able to use both hands independently.
If you're lucky and they sew across the net, then you can do the straight right hand, which is your strongest punch.
Thanks,
Okay.
Grandpa.
Now we really know how to beat people up.
But how do the gnomes throw the punches? I made a custom ability framework kind of layer within Unreal Engine's gas system. If that means nothing to you, ignore what I just said. This ability system is pretty freaking sweet.
It allows me to make abilities super easy just by filling out different attributes on a spreadsheet. And then it's really easy to slot in different abilities to different weapons or whatever.
And here's a little surprise for you. Every ability is actually broken down into 2 different variations, a subtle and intense. If you take a basic swing ability, if you tap it, it's a subtle swing. If you hold it, it's an intense swing. They do different things, so they need to be different abilities.
When you're defending, you can always defend by just blocking punches. The other way to defend is to parry, which is like to knock them back as they're throwing their punch.
At the moment, blocking just reduces the damage and knockback you take by half, while parrying will negate the attack entirely, but you have to time it and it costs energy to use.
But there's another way to defend yourself, something called the shield bar, which sits right above your well-being. Now the shield is broken down into mundane and magical, into armor and ward. Armor acts as a really tough hit point.
If you get attacked and you have armor, it's gonna block all the damage you take and just chip away 1 armor. Ward at the moment just acts as temporary hit points, but the goal is that it blocks magical curses and hexes.
The other defense is basically, primarily as a counter. When they're throwing something, you're throwing something back, or you're keeping them off of you with jabs. Or you can clutch. If you really get in a jam, you just throw your arms around them like it's wrestling. The ref will break it up in a minute, but it gives you time to rest, and it also gives you the opportunity to contain their blows. If you're good at it, and you got a clutch, and the ref says break, and you break quickly, they're vulnerable sometimes to hit them just as they broke, or just as you broke.
I would really like to add a grapple mechanic. I don't know how to do that yet, but that will be in the game because I think it's awesome. You're also going to be able to throw any object you pick up, and I want that to be the same for the grappled enemy. You can picture a little gnome that's very stout. They're grappling an enemy, and then they pick it up, and then they throw the enemy away into the other enemies.
The rest of it is just kind of moving around the ring, outthinking your opponent, knowing what their tendencies are, and then counter their tendencies. So that's about it.
But here's the last piece of crucial information. This is the central mechanic to the entire game. See, in a typical fantasy RPG, you have 5 classical archetypes: strength, dexterity, charisma, intelligence, and wisdom. Stats are actually the reason why RPGs work. It allows the player to lean into a specific archetype to express the playstyle the player wants to play. Not only does it allow number values for specific playstyles that I can react to as the game designer, philosophically, this is what I'm deciding characters in my game and personality fundamentally are. But these words are right for a fantasy game. My game is the ultimate guard gnome game. I gotta have the guard gnome words. So my stats are stout, nimble, whimsy, mischief, and imagination. These characteristics are what I'm deciding the gnome and everything else in the world fundamentally are. And I think it makes sense that these stats also represent the 5 playstyles you can embody in combat. We just need a way to express those archetypes. So how about I introduce an expression button, basically an ability button tied to each hand. Right now, we just need 5 basic expressions, 1 for each stat. But in the magic video, we'll expand upon this whole system. It's a really big system even right now. Stout gnomes are all about defense and knockback. They're primarily associated with the armor, and the ability right now is just a thwomp, which knocks them back really far. Nimble gnomes are quick rogues. They're really fast, they're associated with energy, and they deal a lot of damage. The ability right now is a swipe, which makes the next attack deal more damage. They're also movement focused, but I was not able to get movement abilities working for this playtest with the multiplayer. Whimsy gnomes are a lot less about damage and way more about singing and dancing. Their little expression right now is just a quick little snap to heal their health. They're much more associated with gnomes' well-being. Mischief gnomes are the opposite. They're associated with witches and warlocks, and they deal with the ward. Mischief gnomes are tricksters. Their expression right now is a slap, which doesn't deal any damage, but it makes them dizzy, which increases the knockback they receive.
And finally, the spiritual imagination gnomes, they're all about winning through utility and outthinking the opponent opposed to straight combat. The basic expression right now is just a blow, a puff of air. This doesn't deal any damage, but you can use it at a range to knock them back. They're going to focus on summoning constructs, crowd control, and terrain modification. They're imagination gnomes. They're a lot like druids. And they're associated with the crosshair. It's going to get really intricate, so wait till the magic video. Phew! Oh man, that was an intense training montage. I think the gnomes are ready to box. But why are we even doing multiplayer PvP before anything else? Well, it was either multiplayer or AI. And I need the game to be multiplayer anyway, so I figured now is the perfect time. What better perfect time than right now? Get the hard stuff done early. Now I'm gonna challenge my grandpa, an Xboxer, to 1v1 me, a current gnome. I'm gonna teach grandpa how to use a controller, and then at the very end, he's gonna tell us the story of how he met Muhammad Ali. If you've enjoyed the video so far, go ahead and like the video so more people can see it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
You ever used the controller before?
Been a long time.
What was the last time you used a controller before?
It may have been Madden football, or it may have been, you know, some racing thing.
Yeah.
You know.
So
Good graphics.
you should be able to look around.
So,
There you are.
okay. And this one?
That one's to move. That one's to walk around. So here, you might want to hold it like this. Okay? You might want to hold it so both thumbs, so you
okay.
the joysticks.
All
It's a
right.
lot more comfortable. See the sunset?
Mm-hmm. Incredible.
Sweet. So here I am, right here.
All right. Where am I?
Well, you won't be able to see yourself because it's called first person view. So it's as if you were actually there.
Okay.
There you go. So you held it down.
Yeah.
That was an intense punch. It's a lot more telegraphed, right?
Right.
And then if you do it quickly, that's just your jab. So you can jab, and then you can do a bigger punch. And you snap. Walk over to me, and I'm gonna teach you how to pick up these punching gloves.
Now, if you use the snap button tied to that hand, now it's gonna blow. So whatever you're holding,
Okay.
that changes what abilities you have.
You see me with the two punching gloves? Ah! Whoa! Here, try the ah! Yeah, I go much farther back. Try the other bumper. There you go. So that's way faster. Keep going, keep going. Oh man. Yeah, get pushed back. Ah! I have 1 health. Oh man! Oh no! That's me. You killed me. All right, you're pretty good. I think you might be ready for the grand challenge.
It's amazing.
My grandpa has done a lot of things, being a boxer among many, and he has a lot of stories, and he wrote them all down.
So as a result, I basically tried to write down the lessons I learned. Oh, I could.
I asked Grandpa to read his section about boxing. So as the grand challenge plays,
That was the last one that Spirit Halloween. I got it.
All right.
we're gonna play this story.
Okay, you want me to share those?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, first of all, boxing is an unnatural act. Instead of running from pain, you step into it. And the ability to deal with that pain or endure that pain, you know, it takes courage. Not only accept pain, but reach out for it. It's about being hit as much as about hitting. It's not about getting knocked down, but it's taking the count and getting up as much as just getting knocked down. You can risk getting knocked down, but you can't stay down for the count of 10. The other lesson was My skills were limited, so I had to think and improvise mid-fight. With a short reach, I had to get close. I had to take a punch to give one. Got to swarm with the body with body punches. Life is like boxing, only get to throw many punches and can only take so many. Key is fighting beyond your endurance. In a fight, there are rounds, not just round one. Need will, skill, and most of all important, as Mike Twain says, it's not the size of the dog in a fight, but the fight in the dog. Often fought above my weight class and learned hard hitters are not often ring smart. So those were some of the lessons that I thought worth writing down in my Have a Story about one little chapter in my life. So.
Oh no, I'm at 1 heart. You're trying to hit me off. With a big attack. Oh no! That's awesome. Yeah, it knocked me off, yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think?
It's neat. Really enjoy it. Yeah.
Awesome.
I said we could play it again a little bit.
Yeah.
It's great. That's fun.
Awesome. I spent a lot of time on the graphics.
You got the trees down for sure.
Tell me a little bit about that book.
Well, growing up, there's a line I read one time about all you have in life are your stories. And I read some book.
Oh no.
It was like Cowboys something or other, but it was all these Western stories of a person's life experiences. And so it always impressed me about what would it be like not to have a memoir, so to speak, collect a whole bunch of stories, because I got a lot of stories in my life. It allowed me basically to segment my life into chapters. And I was born just at the cusp of the baby bubble, just a little before it. But when I put those 21 years together to where I am now, my 4th quarter, 5 minutes left to go in the game. And so I did that on, it's pretty much up to date. And then I had another section called Meaning of Life. You get into philosophical, spiritual kinds of thoughts. And then I had one of Passions of Life and Lessons of Life, that I learned in politics and the businesses I had and those kinds of things. So, although I may have you help me type it up, in which case you'd be the first one to read it. I don't know, it'd be an honor, maybe you want to. Maybe they'll have you leave quicker.
I moved to a new state to look after my grandpa, but I'm having a lot of issues paying my car payments, as well as supporting this game. So by subscribing, you'd help me cross 1,000 subscribers, which is one step closer to monetization. Also, by liking this video, you'd help it in the algorithm quite a bit. Same with commenting. The more people that see it, the more AdSense I'll be able to get. I've also been asked to open a Patreon, which I have a lot of different monthly rewards. So if you want to help this game, this channel, and me and my grandpa financially, that's the best way to do it. And at the start of this video, I said that Muhammad Ali slapped my grandpa.
When I was boxing for that CYO group, we were fighting amongst ourselves to learn how to box better. Well, Muhammad Ali came on into that boxing area. The person who was the trainer was one of the great middleweight fighters of all time, a guy by the name of Tony Zale. And so Tony Zale was the kind of head of the CYO boxing club and the trainer. And Muhammad Ali came in to see him because he was in Chicago promoting his first fight against Sonny Liston. All of us lined up to meet Muhammad Ali, at that time Cassius Clay. I was the only white guy. And he's walking his way on down, and then he comes up to me and he slaps me, just mildly. And he said, "You're too slow to be a white boy," and it was, man, I treasure it.